What is the purpose of my dog art tour? You may say it is useful for influencing dog behavior. However, what matters to me is how the dog feels. My art tour helps Penelope relax. Helping the dog relax is way more important than increasing convenience for a person. I'm against influencing dog behavior without regard for the dog's feelings. The expression dog obedience means an increase of dog anxiety. Obedience means there's a boss. I do not want to grow stress in a dog just to enhance my own comfort. What happened in my dog's art tour? My descriptions of paintings and photographs were aimed at the pictures, not the dog. Penelope eavesdropped on my conversation with Art and Kleenex. My speech was directed not to the dog, who drew a conclusion about our strength, the strength of me, the paintings, and the Kleenex. The dog lay down of her own volition, not in response to an order from me. In fact, the dog wanted to lie down and go to sleep before she started barking at the squirrel. Penelope had spent the day before noticing the squirrel stealing my mother's cosmetics, cassette tapes, and wallet. She chewed on human possessions desperately, hoping to provoke people. What I did in my art tour was help the dog feel safe enough to lie down. Penelope's appetite for the squirrel was natural. I have seen Penelope outdoors chase and catch a squirrel and kill it. It is the carbon rule in the dog's relationship with people that makes the dog bark at the squirrel and chew on cassette tapes, cosmetics, and socks. Penelope was so frustrated by trying to provoke and trying to dominate people for hours that her appetite for the squirrel was amplified. As a student studying for a test for hours may find himself eating a dozen candy bars, Penelope was over-alarmed about the squirrel and at the same time exhausted. A dog who is biting or scratching your friends does not feel safe. I actually believe there is no bad behavior in any dog. Nothing any dog does is wrong. It's all communication. If a dog chews your pillow, vandalizes your shoes, steals your cosmetics, pulls his leash, or soils your property, then it's your job to learn how to help the dog feel safe enough not to want to commit vandalism or profanity. If I were able to order a dog to be quiet, or use a shock collar or bitter lip balm, then, even if she became quiet, her stress would increase. Raising her stress level does not help the dog relax. On the 7th of June, 2013, a young English bulldog died in a Petco dog training class. The Petco staff pulled the leash hard enough to choke the dog to death. Dog trainers are oblivious to the carbon rule. The purpose of training should not be to achieve obedience. The purpose of training is to help dogs relax. We do need to control a dog, but not according to the dog. Anytime the dog perceives that the human is an authority, the dog has a cellular compulsion to challenge the human. According to Penelope, when she lay down and went to sleep, it was all her idea. All dog behavior should be the dog's idea according to the dog. Of course, it was my idea first, but not according to Penelope. When I work well with Penelope, she has the impression that she will be loved and accepted whether she performs a command or not. When a dog feels that way, she abandons chewing socks, cassette tapes, and cosmetics. She watches humans in awe, not apprehension or fear. A person must find their own way to feel worthy of self-respect and God-respect, regardless of who else may judge or blame the person. A dog, however, can only come to feel consistently loved and respected if a person conscientiously works to get the dog into that state of mind. The beauty of your human mind is that you can look from another's point of view. The Golden Rule exalts this gift. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If I ask, how was your day? And you tell me, and then ask about my day, you are practicing the Golden Rule. Dogs, however, do not get excited about respect, as in the Golden Rule. Yet, people actually wind up complaining about this fact. People say, I was nice to my dog, and she repaid me with vandalism and profanity. People practice the Golden Rule, dogs practice the Carbon Rule, which is, dominate others constantly unless they show you an image of strength first, then follow. When Penelope lay down and went to sleep, she beheld strength transferred to the paintings by me. She made up her own mind that the images of strength that I presented meant she was safe. She took comfort in not being in control, because somebody else seemed in great control. Up until she resigned control, Penelope had been desperately trying to put her paws on people's thighs, pull tissues from the wastebasket, steal a sock from the closet, and wag her tail to make somebody pet her. People were often enough reacting to Penelope's proactivity that she got the impression people were gullible. If they can be provoked a little, they must be weak. The dog must try again to provoke more and more. Making people react gives the dog the impression that she is incrementally ensuring her own survival. Even though it exhausts her to continue provoking, she must continue. It is her cellular mandate. The barking dog, the biting dog, the mischievous dog is worried about survival. You do not decrease a dog's worry about its survival by talking nice or petting or feeding it, as long as your behavior is a consequence of the dog's performance. Praise should not come as a consequence of the dog's performance. Praise should come during a dog's good behavior. When I praised the dog when she was barking, I was praising between her barks, when she was, even for just a second, silent. If I had opened the door and allowed Penelope to tear outside and grab that squirrel by the neck and shake that poor rodent to death, it would have been intensely satisfying to Penelope, but it would not have reduced the stress she felt in our household. What I gave Penelope with our art tour was better than the satisfaction she was hysterically begging for. What I gave her was deep satisfaction, not intense satisfaction, and I did not ask for obedience, yet I gave her deep satisfaction. I gave her relief from her stress. If the dog is man's best friend, then you should be a best friend by understanding the dog's craving for assurance of its own survival. If the dog is mischievous, don't scold the dog. Help the dog. She tries to make you predictable by provoking you because she doubts you are safe. You can make her feel safe by being unpredictable, by giving praise by surprise, proactive praise. When Penelope noticed me talking to the paintings, she said figuratively, "Finally, I can quit all this exhausting exclamatory mischief I was trapped in a cycle of expressing. Finally, I see somebody I can admire instead of just somebody I can dominate." A person, you, cannot convince a dog that you are strong by telling the dog directly, "I am strong." The dog must assign strength to you after eavesdropping on you. Penelope noticed that I was not talking to her when I was talking to the paintings. If you do not care about the dog's feelings, and your only concern is that the dog behave well, you can achieve good dog behavior using stress. The entire dog industry is based on the use of stress, both in forms of intimidations, such as a shock collar or prong collar, and indirect forms of stress, such as food rewards. Food equals stress. Not because it is food, but because it comes as a consequence of dog performance. Praise should come during good behavior, not after it. And praise should be non-physical, because a dog uses its mind more without physical contact. Food is physical contact. Chewing shuts off the mind. But you can achieve apparent good behavior using food rewards and using intimidation. That is, if you do not give a damn how the dog feels. The Bible says man has dominion over the animals. Meat eaters claim that is a good reason to eat meat. Dominion, however, does not mean domination. And most importantly, it has to do with the mind more than the body. There are bigger and heavier animals than we humans, and there are stronger and more invincible species of insects than we humans could ever imagine being. Dominion of them has nothing to do with the body. What we can do with the human mind is way more advanced than our opposing thumbs or anything to do with our diet. Not only can we see ourselves way more than the dog can see itself, we can think from another's point of view. We can understand the dog's carbon rule way better than the dog will ever understand our golden rule. That is our job. Look from the dog's way of looking. Do not expect the dog to consider our point of view. Don't think that because you are nice, the dog owes you niceness back. Our power to switch vantage points conceptually is at the heart of our dominion. Since we can learn the carbon rule, we can benefit by expecting the dog to adhere to it. The carbon rule says, dominate others constantly. Unless they show you an image of strength first, then follow. To say that in reverse, follow strength unless weakness is shown, then dominate everybody. What is strength to a dog? Your own posters or your own Kleenex box can be images of strength if you conduct yourself well around your dog. There are also ways of walking and heeling that qualify as images of strength. There are ways of snapping your fingers as you praise your dog that can disarm your dog. Do you want more videos of the carbon rule? Let me know at ben1@bsweats.com.